Welcome back to the Daily Poem here on the Close Reads Podcast Network. I'm David Kern. The last 2 days I've been reading poems by the great W.S. Merwin, who died last week. Today, I want to read 3 brief poems that he wrote. 3 poems that I find particularly mesmerizing of his. I'm not going to offer too many comments on them because I have offered comments the last 2 days on Merwin's work. I think many of the same thoughts, at least the generalized thoughts that I was offering the last 2 days, apply here. And I think that these 3 poems offer a nice little coda to my sort of sharing of his work. And then I'll move on to a couple other poets, a couple other classic poets, well-beloved poets on Thursday and Friday. So this first poem by W.S. Merwin, it's called Losing a Language. It came from a collection called The Rain in the Trees, which was published in 1988. It goes like this. A breath leaves the sentences and does not come back, yet the old still remember something that they could say. But they know now that such things are no longer believed, and the young have fewer words. Many of the things the words were about no longer exist. The noun for standing in the mist by a haunted tree. The verb for I. The children will not repeat the phrases their parents speak. Somebody has persuaded them that it is better to say everything differently, so that they can be admired somewhere farther and farther away. Where nothing that is here is known, we have little to say to each other. We are wrong and dark in the eyes of the new owners. The radio is incomprehensible. The day is glass. When there is a voice at the door, it is foreign, everywhere. Instead of a name, there is a lie. Nobody has seen it happening. Nobody remembers. This is what the words were made to prophesy. Here are the extinct feathers. Here is the rain we saw. I find that to be an extremely haunting poem. This next poem is called The Long and the Short of It, and it goes like this. As long as we can believe anything, we believe in measure. We do it with the first breath we take, and the first sound we make. It is in each word we learn, and in each of them it means what will come again, and when it is there in meal, and in moon, and in meaning, it is the meaning, it is the firmament, and the furrow turning at the end of the field, and the verse turning with its breath. It is in memory that keeps telling us some of the old story about us. I'll read that one more time for you, just so you can get it. As long as we can believe anything, we believe in measure. We do it with the first breath we take and the first sound we make. It is in each word we learn, and in each of them it means what will come again. And when it is there in meal, and in moon, and in meaning, it is the meaning, it is the firmament and the furrow turning at the end of the field, and the verse turning with its breath. It is in memory that keeps telling us some of the old story about us. Many of Merwin's poems are about the art of poetry and the art of language. And so if you're interested in that and interested in more of that kind of poem, then I definitely recommend you check out his work, especially some of his later work. And here's one more called Here Together. These days I can see us clinging to each other as we are swept along by the current. I'm clinging to you to keep you from being swept away, and you're clinging to me to keep me from being swept away from you. We see the shores blurring past as we hold each other in the rushing current. The daylight rushes unheard far above us. How long will we be swept along in the daylight? How long will we cling together in the night? And where will it carry us together? Merwin's wife died a couple of years ago. They both lived well into their 80s, Merwin into his 90s, in fact, and I like to imagine them having been reunited this week. And so I'll read you the final poem, a 3-line poem from the anthology that came out in 2017, The Essential W.S. Merwin. It's called Wish. It goes like this. Please, one more kiss in the kitchen before we turn the lights off. This has been the Daily Poem. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for staying with me as I've shared some of my favorite W.S. Merwin poems this week. I'll be back tomorrow with another great American poet.